Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today, I'm bringing you my guest, Dayen. He is the creator behind Barkley Eyewear. For those of you who are not yet aware of this amazing product, well, I'm so happy that you're here today to find out more about it. It is a tool that is stylish and environmentally friendly that will boost your sleep. If you are someone who has trouble sleeping, well, this will be a great episode for you. And if you're someone who is looking to have quality sleep so you can wake up energetically, so you can do the things that you want every day, well, continue watching as well. I was brought up with parents who reminded me daily on how important sleep is. They rarely let me stay up late, and if I do ever stay up late, they would constantly ask me why wasn't I sleeping yet. Of course, I have those days where I stay past 12 or even 2 or even 3. As normal kids would do in their teenage stage because they want to rebel, and that's what I did too. But thanks to my parents' wisdom, I always had quality sleep. And they also helped me realize that we really do have the control. We can either stay up and do things that are not serving us and feel shit the next day, or we can choose to have quality sleep and tune in with our body and really look after our overall well-being so we can have quality life. So thank you, Mom and Dad. I love you both so much. And a huge thank you to Dayen as well for creating such an amazing product to help so many people. He will be sharing how beneficial Barkley Eyewear is and how easy it is to use it. Because we had such an amazing chat, there will be 2 parts to the interview. He will be sharing amazing knowledge on sleep and also great wisdoms on life. So enjoy!
Want to paint something for everyone that's listening and watching. Before the tech age, if we, like you said, with our ancestors, they follow what the sun is doing. They wake up when the sun is up and they go to bed when the sun is down. So it's like a hunter-gatherer stage. So, and they have lived so well. And it's because of all these technology. Like you want to stay up and chat with your friends or scroll through your Instagram or whatever. Honestly, that's your choice. Like, how is that? Like, personally, I feel like, what does that even mean? However, though, I am very thankful for those people who are shift workers. Obviously, things need to get done. But your glasses can help them with that, right?
Yes, we have had a lot of positive feedback so far, especially with nurses as well. So nurses do have to work shift work, and that's an unfortunate truth right now. Some people in the space, the personnel learnt a lot of my health, the lighting biophysics knowledge from Dr. Jack Cruz, a neurosurgeon. He has a very different approach to being like night shifting is like, well, shift working is just quit your job kind of thing. Whereas I don't think that's very practical. And so I know it's detrimental to their health for long term, but I know there's a transitional stage that needs to happen. So if people do have to work night shift to survive and to pay the bills, there's ways that they can navigate that. For now, I don't believe it should be done for long term. I think people should only do it for a short period of time to be able to, if they can transition away from that, that's ideal. But if people are in a situation where they have to work night shift, that's just reality right now. The blue blockers are, I think, are absolutely key for that. And I found that I've had actually Becca, her neighbor was actually, when I went over to her house not long ago, she's a nurse, and she didn't realize I created these glasses. She bought a pair, and she told me how much she essentially said it saved her life, so to speak, how much that really impacted her. And that was really, I guess, humbling to hear that. And I was like, oh, wow. And for me, this is just second nature, these glasses. I wear them, and if people buy them and get good use from them, it's great. But I sometimes forget what it's like to be in a state where if you are working shift work for nursing or for any sort of job, that how that really, really impacts your sleep. And because I've been sleeping so well now for years, I forget sometimes that it's so difficult for people to fall asleep, to have good sleep. And that just affects their psyche, their emotional health, their physical health. It affects their spirit. It's so many levels down. It affects them detrimentally, and it ages them quickly. So to hear that feedback from that nurse and saying how much how much it's really changed her, and she was just raving about them, and that was so nice to hear as well, is that they actually have the impact and she can and work still, because some people just can't just quit their jobs and just do that life. It's not possible. But for them to integrate tools in there that are useful, and for her to be open to try them as well, which is great, because a lot of people I know too are still skeptical of these things. They don't realize they work. They don't understand the full science behind them, and it's until you actually experience them for yourself that you're really going to know the effects. So anecdotally, I feel it's most important if people to look online for the science and show me the data, and people get obsessed with that. I personally believe, like, I understand the biophysics and that's not for me. And if you just get personal experience, I think it's more effective than anything. So it was really great to hear that feedback from her, and for shift workers, I think they're an imperative tool to have.
Definitely. What a humbling comment. I'm so happy, and thank you so much for helping people. Honestly, because I sleep quite well, so thankfully for that. And I personally too think that quality sleep is so important. Like, sometimes some people, they mumble and your brain just doesn't work. You can't think properly. There's just stuff that's jumbling up. So yeah, just thank you so much. For those people who honestly have trouble sleeping, please go and try it. Like, it will be one of your best investments ever. Now, for those people who might be light sleepers, how can they help themselves?
That's a good question. I guess if people believe that they sleep light, I think that this comes down to there's so many different factors involved in that they need to sort of optimize. And so if you're like, I'm a light sleeper, I think it just comes down to that there's areas that they haven't really integrated in effectively yet. So whether that's a lighting environment, whether that's your environment for electronics, so whether it's power going through your room, whether that's your Wi-Fi router, whether it's your phone nearby, these are all things that will just keep you into a light phase of sleep. So having all these elements around in your environment and having either low levels of stress, whether it's financial stress, emotional, relationship stress, all that as well, it won't allow you to fall into a deep cleansing sleep. And so again, if people can really explore and be open to the idea of so many different elements that might not be aware of, but also be open to the other areas that they may not believe to be a factor. And so switching your power off into your bedroom at night from the circuit board is like ideal. So you have no power running through your room, so you're in more of a natural state as possible. People have Wi-Fi routers on and phones around them. If that's just emitting constantly, then of course you're going to be a light sleeper. You're never going to get to a deep sleep because your body's just trying to sort of mitigate the negative effects of your environment. And whether that's mold as well, whether that's there's so many different elements, whether you've eaten a large meal before bed. If you've had a very heavy meal before bed, you're not going to fall into a deep sleep. Your body's going to be trying to digest that meal. And so therefore you're going to be in a light sleep. And so if people believe they're light sleepers, I personally don't think that's the case. I feel like there's just elements in their life that they need to optimize, whether that's look into the diet, look into the light, look into the environment, and just really see what areas they can tweak and optimize in that area.
I love it. Thank you for pointing that out in that way, because really, for those who are listening and watching, you really have the control and you're responsible. You're responsible for, all these choices. And yeah, thank you so much. What are your opinions on napping, by the way?
Yeah, napping's been a funny one for me. I actually had a brief nap yesterday for maybe 10, 15 minutes or so, because it was a big day outside gardening. So napping's difficult. I'm been up and down because of the contradicting elements that I hear from so many different people and people I trust in the space. And I feel like it's very personal as well. And so I find listening to your body, trying to get people to understand and listen to their body more, and rather than seeing what science is doing or what this person's saying and what this expert's saying, is like taking that on board. So people do their own research, taking that on board, but at the same time honoring where your body's at. And if you've had a really busy day and you feel really drawn, really like sort of I guess drawn out and tired and lethargic, then if you can benefit from a quick lie down. It's different if you're lying down for an hour and falling asleep for an hour. I feel when it gets into that stage, I believe it's just you're having really poor night's quality of sleep. And so your body's trying to catch up on that REM or deep sleep that you missed out the night before. So if you consistently need to nap for extended periods of time every day, then that just comes down to having your sleep in that night before wasn't optimal, and your body's just trying to catch up. But if you just genuinely have a really busy lifestyle and there's a lot going on, whether that's mentally, whether that's physically, then honoring your body and seeing what you feel into. So yesterday I could have pushed through that and thought, no, it's fine. But at 4:30 or so, I just felt like I needed to lie down, and I'm in tune enough with my body now to understand and to listen to and hear the messages it's trying to tell me. And so if I need to lie down, I'll lie down now, regardless of the time of day. And it's not often. I don't usually there was a period of time, even maybe a year ago or so, when I would have to nap. Most days I'd have to nap in the afternoon. I have a bit of a crash, but I was going through extreme emotional stress at the time, and so that was understandable. So there's levels of there's times in your life when people may need to benefit from lying down and having naps because of whether it's emotional, physical, mental, whatever that is. And so that was a period in my life when I needed to, I was napping frequently, whereas now I don't need to nap as often. It's just occasionally I may have a somewhat of a disjointed sort of night of sleep, and then therefore the following day I'm not as optimal as I usually am, and so I may benefit from a little lie down, but it's usually a max 20 minutes, and then I usually feel great after that. So you should feel really refreshed after a power nap. That's rather than waking up feeling groggy and have no idea where you are and what planet and what year. That's not an ideal situation. Then you know that there's something wrong there. If you need to lie down for a quick power nap and wake up and feel refreshed mentally and physically from that, then that's the way to go.
Yes, thank you. I'm so happy for you that you're so in tune with your body. Speaking of being in tune, yesterday I was speaking to someone, and then because this person, he has I would say health issues because he can't eat certain things. So I was like, so are you really in tune with your own body? And then he was like, that is such a hippie question. And I was like, is it though? If you're really in tune with your body, you would know, when it signals to you, why you feel bloated, why you feel tired, and blah, blah, blah. So thank you so much for saying that. I personally think it's so important to be in tune with your body. Our body is so smart. It always tells us stuff. So listen to it, please. I personally feel like for you to get to where you are today, you definitely would have amazing habits to get to where you are. So what habits did you have that you have to let go of? And what habits do you have now?
Yeah, habits and routines is the cornerstone of the structure of my life, and what's allowed me to integrate all these different elements into my life. And I've learned that the basis of my understanding of that came from a good friend recommended I read Hal Elrod's book, The Miracle Morning. And that was a book I read at the time and about creating a morning routine. And that really stuck with me. And so my morning routine, it evolves and it continuously flows and evolves every month or year. And I'm constantly tweaking to where I feel drawn to, whether it's having a solid morning routine and having routine, elements that I want to integrate in my life is so important for me to track that as well. So I track it in an app where I can see what routines I want to have and be consistent to that. And then I have a goal to aim towards. These are all elements that we were going to include in our coaching for Indy and I and Live Holistically. So this whole structure of how to integrate all this knowledge into a sustainable way of living. And so we found, habits are just the key to all this as well. So it's great to know this information. It's great to know blue blockers are good. It's great to know that you shouldn't eat this or that. But unless you're going to take action for responsibility and action every day and consistently, then that's very difficult because life happens a lot. And so we find that, I personally find that integrating a routine or even consistent habits into your life, these can use all these elements and make it consistent and then drive it into your subconscious. So then those actions become unconscious. And so I found I used to do maybe a 2-hour long morning routine. And I had all these habits in there that were really beneficial. And that was great for me in that period of my life. And then right now I'm a lot more busier with the podcast and the business, and that now I've refined it to like 30 minutes. And so the habits that I've included now that I do consistently are either a meditation that Indy and I do together in the morning. So we do a 10-minute meditation, and we feel into whatever that area of meditation that we feel for the day. So if it's a letting go meditation, if it's a surrendering, if it's a anxiety, any of those elements we feel that we naturally we sort of feel into each day. And so again, no like sort of woo-woo hippie aside, it's just naturally we're just in tune with ourselves and our beings, that we know what we need at the time. And so this morning we did a tapping meditation. So we're big on EFT. And so Indy actually introduced me into EFT. And so we did some tapping, and that was about letting go and letting go and letting God. And that was just about just surrendering and just being okay with everything and not trying to get the ego and the mind to control everything. And so that was a really beneficial tap this morning. And then we did a little quick yoga sort of stretch in the morning as well. And so and we alternate with what we feel. So if our bodies feel a bit tired, we'll go for a really subtle, brief meditation and a yoga. And if we then feel a bit more optimal, then we'll go for a practice we do called the 5 Tibetan rites. Mm-hmm. And that's a bit more intense practice that our coach got us onto. And so they're just 5 different rites that we do that are movement based, and that really gets the energy in the chakras and the energy vortexes in our body spinning really well. So that was something we find really powerful. But we generally find we ebb and flow with how we feel every morning and every day when it comes to morning routines, at least, and habits. And we keep it relatively brief, and so we can get something to ground our day as well. But it's also sustainable for us to do consistently, which is key. Yeah. And that gives us a good start to the day, a great start to the day, so we can be optimal moving forward throughout the day. And and with anything else, when it comes to habits and routines as well, is that we just feel that there's certain times in our lives that we want to integrate something more in. So whether that's movement or whether you want to like work out more often, I think it's key to be able to track that. So if you're just saying, I want to work out more, it's just a concept, an idea, but unless you're going to track that on an app or on a calendar or something, then you're not going to ever keep yourself accountable or have someone accountable for you. And so we find that we create sort of habits together, and we find that we have each other accountable. So one habit that I've integrated recently, which I find extremely beneficial, and it's what Indy and I created together, it's called screen-free nights. And we try to, it's difficult at times, because there's sometimes you really want to just relax at nighttime and watch a movie or a television series or something, just to because television is quite hypnotic. It can be a very good escape tool as well. And so we find some days we might be so exhausted we just want to watch a movie or an episode of Supernatural or something. And so we've integrated now a minimum of 3 nights a week. We have these screen-free nights, and that's a habit that we're keeping each other accountable, which is key. Mm-hmm. So accountability is so important. And so we then come sunset onwards, we don't have any screens. And so that will be time. So no screens from phone, laptop or TV. And we generally have most of the lights off. And so It's either candlelight or the fireplace is going, or we have our red headlamps. And that is a time for us to we either work on relationship work. So we have like a relationship course we're working together to build and enhance and optimize our relationship, to build that stronger. We can read books, like paperback books. We can play board games. There's so many elements people can explore that with. And so that's another degree of what we've integrated. It's proven quite difficult at times, because sometimes we just want to TV is synonymous with everyone's life these days, and whether that's been on your laptop to do work from computer or on your phone scrolling social media, we made it very intentional to do at least 3 nights a week to do a screen-free night. So that's a habit we've integrated fairly recently, in the last few months, and we keep each other accountable, and that's a really effective routine or habit, at least, that we've integrated.
So beautiful. And I am so happy for you both. Like, it's amazing. Like, whatever you just said, I just want people to rewind back and listen to it again. Because, for example, like what you and India are doing, it's for, I guess, improve your own relationship. And really, for everyone that's listening and watching, if you don't put in the work, then how do you expect your relationship to excel? And that's not just romantically, also in your friendship, with your family, and etc. So good on you guys. I'm so proud of you. And also the way that you said your habits were, sorry, your morning habits was like 2 hours and now 30 minutes. For those who are listening and watching, I really don't want you to stress out about your morning habits, because as Dang say, you would change because that's how your life is. So you can change it. Like, don't stick to certain things when it's not serving you. Like, you need to find ways to help yourself too. So thank you so much for portraying it so beautifully. Yeah. I kind of want to know though, like, when did you realize all this, like having the self responsibility to live such an optimal life?
I'd say it would have activated or sparked, or something burning inside me would have been in 2014 March, when my grandfather passed away. That was what sort of ignited me to pursue this. That was very different to the life I was pursuing before. I've always been quite health conscious growing up, and very health conscious parents. And so that was second nature for me, the health side of things. But it wasn't until I took full responsibility. And so before that, from 23 or 24, and that life beforehand, it was very different. And again, sort of health conscious, but not really health focused as much, and health intense, and not taking full responsibility. So 2014 was pivotal in awakening a degree. It was the beginning of my awakening, so to speak. And then that sort of led in, and it felt like it's naturally unfolded since then. There's been a few pivotal, monumental moments and like aha moments in my life that have like clicked for me. And that's been from 2014 till now. So the last 6 years, there's been a level of intensity with really emotional challenges and physical and mental. There's so many different challenges in that period. But with every deep challenge comes another level of me breaking through a different degree. So I've had over the last 6 years, a lot of breakdowns. But I believe that's also the journey that I've committed to, and that people do commit to, is that when they commit to this path of self-mastery, of self-fulfillment, of self-consciousness, self-responsibility, is that there's a level there that you'll come across a lot of challenges in every different area of your life, and whatever area challenge that is meant for you in that life. So my challenges are very unique to me, and they're very different. And so I can never compare that to someone else's challenges out there. So if I have deep emotional or financial challenges, that's just my challenge. And so I need to break down in that, usually the case, and then I break through that as well. So there's been multiple breakdowns. There has been multiple times that I didn't want to create these glasses. I had that many deep breakdowns throughout my period of just creating these glasses alone, that brought up so much stuff, personal stuff for me, that I needed to break through myself. And breaking through that has made me a better person. It's got me stronger to that what I have ever thought would be possible. But at the time, in hindsight, it was at times almost unbearable, and I wanted to give up. And that was dozens of times that I wanted to give up. And I felt this was too difficult. This was too hard. And like, why me? Why this? And that has always led to a moment of breakthrough, which has got me to a different level in my life now, which has got this strength and this drive inside me that realized that that's possible. And that was all worth it as well. And so at the time, if you feel like you want to give up, and that could be really challenging. And having someone like India, like my good friends and family, having them as support, and just having faith and trusting that you'll get through those very difficult periods in your life, I think is absolutely key. And knowing that it's happening for a reason, and knowing that this is for the better of you and for the better of you people in your life as well. I feel that is, I just can't see looking back, it's just so much easier to see in hindsight and be like, oh, that makes sense. It's just when you're going through it, it can be challenging, and it can be really, really challenging. And so, I find that the challenge is necessary, and it's also necessary if you choose to commit to this life as well. If you choose to commit to a life of I guess, complacency, of comfortability, then you won't come across these as often. I don't believe in you'll live your life and it may be quite boring, and that would be a life you're committed to as well. But if you go to stick your neck out and you go to really actually explore and go within and also do everything you need to sort of grow, there will be a lot of challenges on the way. And I've found that that's been very synonymous with my life. Has just been, for the last 6 years, has been like an intense amount of challenge, but it's worth every second of it.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you for being so raw and honest and vulnerable. That was beautiful, man. For those who are listening and watching, I know it is really hard to deal with loss and grief, but as Dane has said it, like with everything, there is a learning lesson, and you can choose to look at it as a learning lesson or to sit in that uncomfortableness and continue to be sad and mope around, or you can really, overcome those challenges. And yeah, this is life. Like everything, like you said, it happens for a reason, and just have more faith, surrender. We're here to learn. And if you choose to stay in that comfortableness, well, again, that's your choice too. Everyone is on a different journey. I respect you. It's okay. But there are other ways to live if you are open to it. Just, I feel like you share something though on the business side that you have to overcome that challenge. Oh, by the way, thank you so much for not giving up, because you are helping so many people. What has been the highlight really, other than Beck's neighbor telling you that humble comment?
Highlight, that's it's been difficult to even reflect on the journey, because it has been so difficult along the way that to celebrate those small wins it can be challenging for me, because I got a lot of degrees of perfectionism within me. It's creating the glasses was there's so many elements of my perfectionism coming out that I wanted them to be absolutely perfect, and I did it the best that I could right now. And that level of perfectionism made it difficult for me, because I'm always thinking of how I can make it better and how I can improve it, and that's more environmentally and everything in every area. So therefore I'm constantly future projecting into what I want, and not acknowledging and appreciating and valuing what I've done and where I've come from. So that has been challenging. And fortunately, I've had either friends and family point that out to me of like, this is like a big achievement. And so at times I've had to stop and really be, and just like, wow, it's like there's people buying the glasses and they're getting great benefit from it as well. So to be conscious of that, and just to give myself like a little bit of like a small win and celebrate that is really important. So I guess the highlights have been, giving a pair each to my family was really awesome, that I could like create these and give them to my family, and they all have a pair now, which is really cool. And just hearing the feedback from my friends, and all of them just seeing like friends wearing them consistently. I'm like, oh, I thought they just bought them just to support me. I didn't realize they genuinely like the glasses, and they genuinely wear the glasses consistently. Is that's really humbling. I'm like, oh wow, they're getting benefit from it. They're noticing the benefits, and then they're sharing that with other people as well. And it's just a constant sort of knock-on effect. And yeah, it really has been a journey of just, I guess, letting go of and not making it so much about me. And I made a lot of it about me, and my ego wanted to be like the best pair of glasses out there. And I wanted to have this impact straight away. I want to impact millions, but like right now I got to start from somewhere, and I'm still so small scale. I'm still one of the smallest out there in the world, but it's humbling to go through the dirt, so to speak, and really start from like just grind away and let go of and making it so much about me and my product, and more so about the people I impact. Whether that's 10 or 20 people, it's better than nothing. And so my ego wants to be the best in the world and have hundreds of thousands of people have my glasses, and that may be the case in the future. But right now, it's like the friends and family around me that I'm impacting, and the people that I never met before. That it's such a small scale, but it just means a lot to realize that people are getting such good use out of the glasses, and they really appreciate it and enjoy it. So just those small stories of people, and having that, whether they're, and just having, even selling my first few pairs overseas, which has been really great. So that was really awesome to be like, it's an order coming from, I think it's from Greece or somewhere. And I was like, wow. And it's like, this is reaching, even though there's like one pair in Greece and one pair in Germany, there's not much out in the world right now in comparative to the rest of the like eyewear ranges out there. But for me, that meant a lot. And yeah, the first couple of sales I got, which are really satisfying and really humbling as well. And like, this is happening. And so this is having the impact. And so, yeah.
You're amazing. I'm so proud of you for stepping out of your comfort zone and creating this amazing product. We all got to start somewhere. And really, I feel like nothing is ever perfect. Like, you are forever trying to make it better. So thank you so much. And the self-praise part, for those who are listening and watching, it doesn't matter if you have a business or not. Personal life, you need to self-praise. You need to give yourself credit for you to live however long you have lived. Let's say you are 15 or 25 or 35. Like, you have lived that long. Give yourself a pat on the back for, you know, going through so many things. So thank you for reminding people that it is important to self-praise. Is there any tip that you would like to give to business people though?
Yeah, I think because of my journey along the way too, is that best phrase is like, it's letting go and surrendering to the process. And again, that's like the element of my life that I do recommend, and all the top people really recommend that as well, that I've heard and listened to. And it is just letting go and surrendering to the process of what comes up every time. And you're going to go through different challenges throughout the way. And so for me, my challenges are very unique to what I had to learn through the business as well. And so I had to learn I wanted to learn from the very start. I wanted to outsource almost everything. I wanted to even outsource the glasses creation process, which I look back now, which is insane. I wanted someone else to create them for me. And I wanted someone to manufacture all that as well. I didn't want to go into that process because I was scared. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't trust myself. I didn't trust I would be resourceful enough. And so I think if you're people in the business space, is that what I've learned from personal experience as well now so much, is that you have to do everything from the very start yourself to really fully understand that, and be okay that you're going to be bad at it to begin with. And so there's so many elements, whether it's tracking finances or creating the Shopify store or of sourcing manufacturers or everything that's involved. There's so many elements that I did not understand how deep of it is to create a business as well. And to do it right is, in the same time as well, it's very difficult. And I had a lot of mistakes I felt I've done along the way that I would beat myself up about, but now realizing that was just very necessary for me to go through that lesson. Some more expensive lessons than others, but I feel like this is just keep persisting. And if it is truly passionate to you, whatever that business idea is, if you're coming from a place of heart and you genuinely want to have the impact, then the business will thrive. It might not be in your timing. It wasn't in my timing, because I wanted to be successful, mega successful from the day I launched. And the day I launched, I did a couple of pop-up stores and I had 2 or 3 people come. And so, and then when I went online, in about 2 months' time, I had about 2 orders. And so it wasn't the level that I had. I had an expectation of what I thought I wanted, and I thought that I was maybe special or different than anyone else out there. And I was going to build it, and then they will all flock in and come and buy my glasses, where it's not the case. And I really see that now. It's like, it's so important to understand that it isn't about that. It's all about the journey. As cliche as it all sounds, the journey is so important, and it is, because that teaches you the lessons on the way, and that it isn't about that result. And so very much business is very much ego and mind centered on results. It's like, what are your results? What are your sales? What are your numbers? And that dilutes the ability to take back what is that you really want to do and the impact that you want to have and serve on the world. And so, yeah, if you can get to a place that you're more heart-centered and less about the numbers and the metrics, and just trust the process and let go of any expectations of your timing, and just trust that the world and the universe and God will all flow in the timing that's meant to be, and just go along that wave. It's like riding a wave. You can go against it and it'd be very difficult, or you can just hop on it and just ride it through, and you'll go through some really really hard times, but then you also get some really great times as well. So
That was so beautiful. Thank you so much. I'm like a little bit tearing up because honestly, people just need to surrender more and just trust the timing, just trust and surrender. And I don't know if you have heard of the saying that money will come after. Like if you have great intention and knowing what your true intention is and the purpose, if you are trying to serve the greater community, then really like that's it. Like what you're doing, trying to help people with their eyes. So thank you so much. Before I take even more of your time, is there anything that you feel like I didn't ask or you would like to share in particular?
good question. It comes to mind. I don't think I think we've touched base on a lot of things, which is really cool. Like elements that I didn't realize that, again, this whole thing of I trying to prepare for these things and let whatever just flow out. And that's another degree of letting go and surrendering. But I think it really is. It comes down to if people can do that inner work themselves and just really go deep and sort of self-inquire about themselves, and because it will get you to dark spaces, that's for sure. But when there's darkness, there's always light as well. And so I feel that if you do that inner work, if you take responsibility for your life, for your health, for your business, for everything in your life, and stop just complaining or whining or worrying about whether it's this virus that's going around or the government, whatever that is for them. It's like taking responsibility for what you can have control and impact over, and then letting go of the rest. And so yourself, I feel like your routines, your habits, what you eat, what you consume, what you put on you, what you watch, what you listen to, these podcasts, for instance, all those things you have complete control over. And so just doing like a self audit and really understanding where you are in your life, and just really genuinely wanting to explore your human potential and how far you can become and how far you can evolve as a human along the way. And so I'm saying this is like, I would not have thought I would be here right now speaking about this 6 years ago. And so trusting the process and the timing, and that you will get where you need to go to if you just take responsibility and let go.
Yes, you're so beautiful. I love it. You know what? The other day I posted on Instagram because, like you said, the virus is going on, government, all that stuff. And then I asked a question. What lens are you looking at life with? Like, are you looking at life with a miserable lens, or are you looking at life with joyful and opportunistic lens? Because really, we need to sit through the shit times and then learn from it. But if you're not failing, then really, are you really living? Like, so it's just some questions that you can think about for those who are listening and watching. Now, before I say goodbye to you, how do you think we can be there for each other in general?
A really good question. I personally believe it's just to check in with friends and family, and just to as best you can, but also don't make it such a big deal of trying to check in with every single person, and just feel into who you resonate with and who you want to reach out to as well. And it could be as simple as a Zoom chat. It could be a text. They can be for each other. But I guess as well as, which is really important, which resonates with me a lot, is using your particular skill sets and being of service to others the best that you can do. And so for myself and for Indy, we're just so deep in this space of holistic health that our way of being there for others out there, family, friends, community networks, is sharing our knowledge and understanding, our experience, and then getting them to self-inquire within themselves. And just giving that information out there, and our experience is to realize that we're not alone. We're not alone on this planet. Where as community grows, yes, exactly. As community grows, that's the key for everything. We are right now in Victoria extremely isolated. It doesn't mean we have to be disconnected. And so that's so key, is that we right now, when we're launching our podcast, that's our way of getting out our information, our knowledge that can really self-empower people to take control and responsibility of the things they can control in their lives. And so we being there for others, I feel like is doing the best you can for family and friends, and checking in, but also giving and being of service with your unique talents and gifts, how you can give back to them in whatever way possible.
Yes, I agree. But for those who are listening and watching, if you feel like you haven't yet find your purpose or your talent, please don't beat yourself up. I would encourage you to keep on trying new things and you will definitely find it, and don't give up. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for your time. I honestly loved our chat.
Thank you for having me. So did I. I really enjoyed
What
it.
did you enjoy most about the interview? Did you learn a thing or two? Let it be learning on how important sleep is, or maybe learning on how liberating surrendering is. Maybe you are someone who would like to start a business, or maybe you're just someone who purely wants to have a great sleep. No matter what, I really hope that you have enjoyed the interview as much as I did. You can definitely tell how passionate Dayen is. He's not only helping his friends and family, he's helping the greater community like you and I. I know that you too can help other people. It all starts with ourselves. Like I said, if you yet to find your unique talent or your unique skill, don't beat yourself up. Maybe today would be your day one that you want to start exploring. If you would like to start exploring and find out how you can inspire and impact other people, click here. And don't forget to subscribe, click the thumbs up button if you have loved it, and share it with someone because you never know what they're going through. And remember, you're amazing and you are not alone. I will see you next time.